This is a Ziploc bag. And this is the mother of all Ziploc bags, which contains Go7 Gaming's box insert for your core set. The package contains 3 full-size sheets of MDF, 1 tiny size, and a single page of instructions. In addition to this, you will need some glue and possibly some masking tape. The instructions are very well labelled with plenty of diagrams and step-by-step guides, just in case it's been a while since you've handled any Lego. There are 2 things to look for when assessing the quality of laser cutting. The first is the amount of burning. If the laser's power is set too high, you'll see dark brown areas on the wood. This is especially visible where the cuts are close together, where the laser is spending a lot of time going backwards and forwards in a small area. It's fine to have these on the matrix parts, the parts which we aren't using for building, but if you get any on the surface of your product, you may have to sand it off with a bit of sandpaper. The second quality feature is if the laser power is set too low, it won't cut all the way through, and you'll have to apply pressure or do a bit of cutting to get the pieces from the matrix. Like well punched counters, these things should just pop out nice and easily with minimal pressure, just like that. This is fantastic. Our advice with a kit like this, which has great labelling, is to keep everything unpatched until you actually need it. Then only remove the parts you need and glue those together. If you pop everything out into one big pile, it can be a lot harder to find the pieces that you need, especially when your B's, D's and C's look similar. Although it does look like there are a lot of different parts, the actual assembly constitutes only these 2 sides here. And it's really great how they start with something incredibly simple. Put part A and B together, and there's only one part A and there's only one part B, and they're on the same sheet. The mark of a good kit is does it hold together without any glue, and this one certainly does. One finished dry assembled Go7 Arkham Horror Gaming insert. Take your token tray, pop the lid on like so, and that fits in sideways in the central groove like that. Nice and secure, it won't rattle around. And there is space at either end to get your fingers in and pull the whole thing out. You can glue it together and leave it loose, but what it's designed to do is to fit inside your Arkham Horror core box. The next part is your pack of dividers, which contain 15 acrylic dividers, again in a suitably impressive jiffy bag. These are made of transparent acrylic, but they do have a paper backing attached to them to protect them during transit and stop them getting scratched. Give it a tug like so, and as you can see, they are completely clear. And you can slot these in literally anywhere up and down the row. And when they're in place, they add even more strength and rigidity to the structure. And because they are clear, they aren't going to be obscuring the cards on the other side, which is great. But there's no reason why you need to remove the paper backing, and because you can write on it, you can use it as a handy labelling tool. Although you might want to peel the paper backing away from the edges so that they do fit very easily. And you can still keep your paper surface to write on, removing it when you change up your dividing order. One thing to note about the dividers is that they are taller on one edge than they are at the other, and your taller edge is your outside edge. Your outer edge is taller. This is so you can fit the rule books in across the top. We don't recommend configuring the dividers in their tightest formation without any notches in between, because they can be very hard to remove. Your manuals can rest on the top there, and the lid will fit over and keep everything secure and closed. But it does add a significant amount of height to the box, so when you're transporting this, you will definitely need a rubber band or something to hold it closed. These are all the cards from one core box sorted into their individual set. And this is how we've configured our box. At the front, using 2 spaces, then a divider, we've got the Gathering, into which we've folded the Rats. We've got the Midnight Masks, into which we've folded the Cultist deck. And we've got the Devourer below, at the back of which are the 4 optional encounter sets that you choose from. Here are all the rest of the encounter sets. We're using the rules reference card just to divide some of them up like that. Then you've got a nice generous space here for whatever you like. Then there's the investigator cards and their special cards. You've got your 4 basic weaknesses. All of these have 1 notch in between them. Then you've got all of the neutral cards, which are very thick but still fit in and come out easily. And then you've got your 5 flavors of class cards here, all of which come in and out nice and easily. In the center we've got our tokens. There's a 3rd die chaos bag here with all our chaos tokens in. You can fit 4 blister packs, 2 at this end, and then with the headers interleaved, 2 up at that end. This is all of the cards from the core set, and all 15 dividers. The dividers are very thick, so if you want to swap those out for paper or card dividers, then that will definitely increase the amount of room you have. If you do use all your dividers, you can configure everything into a 1-notch gap like this one here, or a no-notch gap here. It's enough to fit in your investigator mini cards nice and snugly and stop them rattling around. This is 750 unsleeved cards, and you've still got room for at least 3 dividers. Because this is a raw surface, we wouldn't recommend using it for unsleeved cards. The Perspex dividers won't cause any chafing, and if you do, keep them compact like this, then they shouldn't suffer too much damage unless you're taking it out and about. This is 100 sleeve cards with the divider set on the 7th notch, and as you can see, there is still plenty of room in there to get a finger down the side. So this will be 100, 200, 300, 400. We've squeezed another 70 cards on the end there. If you want to really squeeze things in and move these down so that they're configured on the 6th notch, then they do still fit and they will come in and out, but they are incredibly snug. Which might be a good thing if this is going in your suitcase, it's going in the hold of an airplane or an overhead bin or something like that where it can get chucked about. You can fit 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 and 45 penny sleeved cards. But this is very tight. If you took out all the dividers, you could squeeze in an extra 31 cards. This is what the token tray looks like with all the dividers put in. Unfortunately, you can't put the mini investigator cards in there. And if you did use all the dividers, you may find it very hard to pick out individual tokens. This is a good setup for storage and transportation. We use 3 of the dividers and we can put in all the chaos tokens and all of the other tokens. What we do is put the chaos tokens in the chaos bag when we're not using them, or put them in a jiffy bag. Use 2 of the dividers to configure 4 compartments. That way you've got everything you need, and you can keep this in your play area so everyone can draw from it and everything is nice and organized. And you can see that even though we haven't used any glue yet, everything is still secure. And remember, you don't need to glue the dividers in place, so you can configure it however you like. The next thing we're going to look at is the SCARD kit, which comes in an equally fantastic jiffy bag and is a small card divider unit. It comes on 3 identical boards and this time has even less instructions. And that makes 4 compartments, and a single one is still easily enough to store your 5 investigator cards in. And the kit comes with enough to make 3 sets of these double dividers. Your manuals can rest on the... can they? Use 2 of the dividers to configure 4 flippy floppy